All right, let me get my green screen going here. Taking a minute to pop up. All right, Grand Rising, good morning. First thing I'd like to do is go ahead and introduce myself, get our emotional regulation breaths going, introduce myself, and then come back and explain the levels. How this works is I count you in a descending manner of 3, 2, 1. Then you inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. Good morning, Journeys, as well. Let's go ahead and get our breathing in. 3, 2, 1. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, the amazing Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Elin II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today, we will be discussing the region of the brain, which is the ACC. It is the anterior cingulate cortex. Good morning, Daisy. And we will be using the principle of real leadership, stay focused, to use the ACC. My lives are sponsored by water. And so when I say drink water, you will drink water. And we will get our water in because this is a mental workout. However, I need to go over the levels first so everyone understands what we're doing and why we are doing it here. Here are the levels. Level 1 is the trial level. That's a 7-day free trial on Instagram where you do 60-second neural reps for 7 consecutive days to get your brain prepared for the process of doing daily neural reps. When you successfully complete 7 consecutive days, you will receive an invite to go to level 2. Good morning, Denise. Good morning, Lola. From there, you will spend 30 consecutive days on Instagram at level 2 doing 60-second neural reps every single day. After 30 consecutive days of successful completion of 60-second neural reps, you will receive an invite to level 3, which is located here on YouTube, where you will then spend 90 consecutive days doing daily neural reps that are more extensive and more expansive than the ones that you did on Instagram. After those 90 consecutive days of successful neural reps, you will receive an invite to level 4, where you will spend 180 consecutive days doing advanced neural work. Upon successful completion of those 180 consecutive days, you will receive your final invite, the ultimate invite of all invites of all levels. You will be able to do RL programs as well as Real Leader Resources. The choice is yours. 365 consecutive days of RL 365, advancing to RL Advanced for 365 consecutive days, and then advancing to RL Beyond. Thank you, Jared. And you also have the opportunity to develop your own concept. So if you have a special project that you are working on and you want to do that, then you would be on the Real Leader Resource track, where we will customize what it is that you will do every day, and then you will turn those neural reps in every day. Jared said, neural reps are strengthening my emotional regulation. Let's go ahead and give Jared a hand clap, because he is 100% true. In that capacity, he is no longer Lazy J, and he is J the Finisher. That's going to be very thin by April 1st with his 200 pounds, and he is 22 pounds away from his goal. So that is muy bueno for sure. Okay, those are the levels. Let me come back. Let me get to our graphic for today. And it is here. Got a lot of graphics in my phone this morning. All right, here is our morning mental workout. So let me come on the camera first so that I can say, we are now talking about our brain regions. And so it's going to get kind of technical, and that's okay. And if you have questions, I will do my best to answer them. But again, I'm learning this process as well, and I have been doing my due diligence. I'm in month 15 of learning this process. And so if I can answer your question, I will. If not, I will write it down and I will come back. But if you have a question and you ask me a question, then you need to make sure that you back so I can answer the question that you have for me. So don't be asking me stuff and then don't come back and get the answer, because that has already happened numerous times. And matter of fact, I think if you're not in the, but I'll wait. I'll hold off and see how this goes. So what we are doing now is we have done the tell me, show me, let me portions of the 74 principles of real leadership, and all 222 of those videos are located on my YouTube channel under those playlists. And now what we're doing is, now that we have the foundation of the principles of real leadership, we are taking that and combining it with the brain and theories like social conformity theory, everything there is from behaviorists to neuroscientists. And we're saying, how does that apply over here with a regulated brain, with a strong prefrontal cortex and a regulated emotional center? So how do we become high functioning in everyday life? That's what we're getting ready to explore. And how we got here with this ACC is because I was having this back and forth in my head. Sunday morning of last week, I finally sat down with Chat for a whole hour from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. to explore what was actually taking place. And I found out that all of this blockage was coming from my ACC, which is the anterior cingulate cortex. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review what is the ACC. Very high level, just going to tell you the functions, where it's located in the brain. And then we're going to get into this morning's actual topic, which is outdated ACC versus updated ACC. So let me put my ACC graphic up here. Damn it, I done made a highlight. Okay, it's okay, it could be a highlight. All right, I'm going off camera and I'm going to explain to you what an ACC is. First of all, it's the anterior cingulate cortex. That's number one. And so it's located in the frontal lobe part of the cingulate cortex. You can see it is in blue, and it's forming a collar-like structure around the front of the corpus callosum, and that's the material that separates in the brain the left hemisphere from the right hemisphere. And it sits in the medial surface of the brain's frontal lobes, positioned between the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe. That's where it is located, so you can see it right there. Now, it is divided into two main parts: the dorsal, and that's the cognitive portion of it, and then the ventral, which is the emotional section. And when we get to the end, I'm going to explain to you how this is applicable, but you're just getting the background information now. And the function of it is it's for emotional regulation, pain management, decision making, conflict monitoring, and things of that nature. So now you know, if you're looking at the left, that's the front of the brain, that's the frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex, that's the back of the brain. At the bottom, you can see that it's the medulla, as long as the brain stem, and then the temporal lobe is in there in that tan part right there. All you need to know currently for today is where the ACC is located. And now I will give you the background information. Now I will say that Chat and I went back and forth, so I'm scrolling through my notes because this format is the first format of this kind now that we're done with the 74 principles of real leadership. So let me now go back to my graphic for today, so you have an idea of where we are. So how did we get here? Well, last week I was having a moment and I was like, what is taking place, Chat? I'm tired of feeling like this. What's going on with this money thing? I have money in my savings, my credit score is decent, and all these other things. Why am I so focused on this money thing? And what we got to was that my mother told me early on, you can't make no money doing that. You can't make money doing that. If it was not attached to a paycheck, she said it couldn't make money. And where that message came from was my grandfather was working from Detroit. He was working at the Big Three. They laid him off. He had a stay-at-home mom and 4 children to take care of, so he took a city job. As a result, he passed that message on to the 4 children that he had. My mother became a government employee for 34 years. My aunt became a nurse. My other uncle became a probation officer who was retired. And her other uncle literally became, her other brother, my uncle, became a lawyer. So these are all very safe jobs, and they all drew paychecks. My uncle, the lawyer, is the only one that's still working. Everybody else is literally retired. And as a result of that, let me go ahead and report this person. Okay. And so as a result of that, so what she was actually saying was, you can't get a paycheck from that. So everything I'm doing, I'm now monetized on 3 social media platforms. I now have an influencer Amazon store as a result of resolving that with Chat. But her whole thing was, you can't make a money doing that, so don't do that. And that's a low variance world when I live in a high leverage world. I had to get to that. And it was her programming and her ACC that I was listening to, because I was 13 years old. So everybody else was out in the streets hustling, and I went and started cutting grass, raking leaves, shoveling snow, had my own landscaping business. And every time I tried to stray away, I was a Mary Kay consultant, a red jacket, getting ready to go do big stuff. And she was like, can't make no money doing that. You got a daughter to take care of. All this. I was selling Tupperware. You can't make no money doing that. You got to keep your job at Frito-Lay. So she kept saying you can't make any money to do that. Finally, I was at my corporate job, and it was killing me. I was literally on portable oxygen and EKG with panic attacks in the hospital at 37 years old. And so I said, well, you know what? If I'm dead, it ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter at all. So I quit my corporate job 15 and a half years ago. And then I worked with my sister for 3 years. And now I've been doing my own work for 12 and a half years. And so everything that I did, she said, you can't make no money doing that. You can't make no money doing that, because it's immediate. You go to work, you go in a building, you get a paycheck, you come home. And so for all this time, I just keep hearing her say, you can't make no money doing that. And what Chad and I discovered was, what she meant was, you can't get a paycheck doing that. So don't do it, because it's not worth it. But when you are just going to get a paycheck, and I don't care who you are, your income is still limited, even at the highest of levels. And you can say musicians and all of that, but billionaires are writing checks for them, and that ain't shit for them. You still got to go work for somebody else, and that's it. You still got to go work for somebody else. You look like the phase, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So at any rate, I get to that point, I understand what's taking place, and then I say, we need to start talking about the ACC, because you need to determine if it is your ACC in an updated message, someone else's, or an outdated message. Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about this morning. The first thing is that it's a signal that the mindset work, that this is mindset work. So here's the structure. Today's morning mental workout starts with the ACC, the brain's conflict monitor and attention allocator. Now, my ACC, as I mentioned, was working on borrowed money program, not mine, but my mother's. We never sat down and said, well, what do you want to do? Her whole thing was, get you a job so you can take care of yourself. That's the message that I received the entire time. Get you a job. Your sister's out here. I don't know how she's going to take care of herself. I don't know how. That's why you got to get you a damn job. That ain't going to make you no money. You need to get you a damn job. That ain't going to make you no money. You need to get you a damn job. And again, that's in my head. Even though we never sat down, and even though I had jobs and I did well at jobs, I'm not a person to have a job, because I mastered the jobs, and then I was sitting there like, I'm bored. Do y'all have anything else for me to do? Which is why I finally left my corporate job, because I'm like, no matter what I do in this company, it's potato chips on a truck. No matter what you say, how you spin it, how you slice it and dice it, it's just potato. It's not meaningful work. It's meaningless work, and it ain't even a food group. So I don't care what happens to you or what takes place. It's not going to change anything at all. So my ACC was running a borrowed money program, not mine, but my mother's. So this flagged anything that I did that was not her money program was a risk, it was hesitation, and it was over monitoring amount around money without my consent. So it didn't matter how much money I had actually invested in my Roth IRA or my 401k. It didn't matter what my credit score was. It didn't matter how big my bonus was. It didn't matter. There was always this, you don't have enough money. This ain't gonna make enough money. What if you run out of money? And that was her, because in all of her saying that, she has poor money management skills. She spends it as fast as it comes in. Her whole other philosophy is, if I want it, I'm gonna buy it, and then I'll figure out how to pay for it later. So that's the same person saying you can't make no money doing that, but she never said save money by doing this. So it's a crazy cognitive dissonance program, but because I was a child, that's the program that I ran. So this workout today is about how to reclaim the authority over an inherited ACC program. Now, your program may not be about money. It could be about saving money because my aunt was the polar opposite and she was saving everything, pinch and penny. So you got my mama spending it as soon as it come in and my aunt holding on to it like you can't ever, never, ever, never buy nothing. And they're both wrong. You need balance and be in the middle. So this is not about emotion. This is not about blame. This is simply about neural ownership. So here we are. What the ACC does, as I mentioned, and what we're doing today is this. We're detecting the conflict between the outdated ACC and your current goals. So my current goals are not to have a paycheck. I already did that. And well, I can't remember if I was somewhere where we said jobs is just over broke. So no matter what you do in a job, and especially if you get a promotion, then you end up increasing your lifestyle. You end up increasing your payments, even when you get a pay raise. So it's very few people in the world that are not over leveraged. Even people that are billionaires on paper are still over leveraged because that's not real money, that's paper money. So for me, it's what will give me peace. I have a very low cost of living. What will give me peace, but also give me fulfillment, because there are very few people in the world who actually have jobs that they actually love to do. Very few people wake up and go to a job that is rewarding and fulfilling for them. And what we have been programmed to do is to go get a job so that we can have a roof over our head and survive. And what corporations have been programmed to do is give people enough money so that they can come back here tomorrow and get it done. And nobody's really winning because the corporations are not happy with the workforce and the workforce are not happy with the corporations. And so it's no bueno. That's part of the reason why I do the work that I do, because we could have a cohesive place. We could have a cohesive world. Why do we have to go to work for 8 hours if we're a 24-hour world at this point? Why can't a fourth workday be 6 hours? Just things that I think about so that everybody can have a quality of life. If your children go to school and they're in school for 6 hours, why are you going to work for 8 to 10 hours? Makes no sense. Whole nother conversation for a different day, but that's how my ACC thinks. And so what is happening is that what happens with the ACC is that it looks at the old rules versus the current goals, and then it allocates focus based upon perceived risk. So I'm going to leave my corporate job and venture out onto my own. Everybody told me don't do this. That is a bad thing. What are you going to do? How are you going to get insurance? How are you going to take care of your daughter? No one ever said, you know what? You really aren't an employee. You actually are an educator and an entrepreneur because you're bored. Going to work every day, trying to figure out how chips get put on a truck is not a sexy idea to me. It gets on there, gets to this marketplace, is sold, and bada boom, bada bing. Nothing really majorly wonderful about that. So what happens is your ACC defaults to early authority figure roles unless it's updated. So I have my mother, her two brothers, and my aunt, all very safe jobs, listening to Arthur Jethro Evelyn II. And so none of them were risk takers. People going in Detroit always going to need a probation officer. Somebody going to get hurt, need a nurse. Somebody going to need a lawyer. And the government jobs was plenty and minty back then. So they all went and stayed in them same professions. My aunt is in her 80s. Everybody else is in their 70s. And so there was no risk taking whatsoever. My Uncle Terry went to the Army for 2 years, did his 2-year enlistment, and came on back home. He didn't even make it to E4. So none of them are risk takers. And so I'm surrounded by these people who have these safe things. So my mother's advice to me was go to college, get you a degree, and get in private industry and get you one of the private industry jobs because they make more money than the people in the government. Private industry for her is corporate America because she was a government employee. That's what she said. And so that's what I did. And I found myself at 29 years old, pulling up in my garage, hitting that button, seeing my, at that time, husband's F-150 and his car in the garage too, going to this corporate job and this life. And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this long term. This is some bullshit. I'm not going to be able to do this. This right here is no bueno for me. I'm not going to do it. And I tried for almost 10 years to be a corporate manager. And for 10 years, I was doing that job plus everything else. I got a degree. I wrote a book. I got divorced. I became a competent communicator and Toastmasters and all these other things because this job, this guaranteed paycheck was not enough for me. But I was told that is it. Get you a job, get you private industry, go live in the suburbs, put your child in a good school, get a spouse, check, 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 check. And by 30 years old, I'm like, this ain't it. The kid is cool, but y'all can have the rest of this stuff. So that automatic ACC programming, that authority figure said, this is it. So how many of y'all have had an authority figure in your life that said these things, and now you find yourself in these things, or you found yourself in these things, but internally it was a mismatch? I cannot be the only one. You were told, go do this, and you did it. And then you did it, and you were like, is this it? Am I the only one? Am I the only one who had an authority figure say, this is going to work for you? And you did it. And then it's not working. The math ain't mathing. And I will drink water while you. And because they were authority figure, you did it. Jernice said yes. Jared said yes. And so what has happened is that program does not update automatically with age or success. The program doesn't update automatically. It's not like your phone and your computer and everything else, your tablets. The software doesn't update. So you can't make no money doing that, but really you can't get a paycheck doing that. And then I'm over here monetizing 4 different social media platforms. But that's the outdated one. So there's 1 over here and 4 over here. I was told because I told them what I'm going to do. I was never told because I told them what I was going to do with my life. Well, congratulations for you. That did not occur for me. And it wasn't that I couldn't do other things. So I went to basic training at 17. So for her, it was money related. If it wasn't money related, I could go do whatever I wanted to do. But that was her program. That was all of their programs passed down by Arthur Jethro Evelyn II. So I was able to go do a lot of other things. It just, when it came to money, can't do that. Can't make no money doing that. And that's because that's immediate gratification. And it is go to do that and you can get a paycheck. Because what I'm doing is the long play. It's going to take a long time. Anthony Hamilton was interviewed many years ago, and he said, yeah, it took me 10 years to become an overnight success. So when you have emotional dysregulation, you need to see it immediately. That ACC needs evidence. It needs proof. And you can't say, well, I don't know. It's going to be some years before I can prove it. It wants to know now. So that program was as long as I could see the money could be made immediately, everybody was like, yay, go do it. And then if you couldn't see the immediate return on investment, then it was a bad idea. And that was put in my head. Even though if you are a person who is really wanting a job, you will go to the job and do the job and come home and you will be okay with that. But I was never okay with it. I wasn't okay with it when I was in the military, and I wasn't okay with it when I was in my corporate job. So for 15 years, I went and did it, but I was doing all this other stuff too. So I was like, this is boring. This is boring. Even when I was in the military, even when I was working at the movie theater, at McDonald's, I wasn't okay with just being a cashier. I was like, I'm bored. So I learned how to do everything at McDonald's. That's not somebody who just wants a job. If you just want a job, you go do the job and you come home. You don't ask for extra stuff. I wasn't getting paid more by being on the grill. I was $3.35 an hour at McDonald's no matter what I did. But I'm like, I'm not going to be here for 12 hours and I'm stuck because I could only work on the weekends, 10, 12 hours, because she wouldn't let me work during the week. Makes no sense because of my grades. But now I got to go spend Saturday and Sunday working at McDonald's and then on Christmas break. The point is, I learned how to do everything at the movie theater. I learned how to do everything at McDonald's and everywhere else. I learned how to do everything at Frito-Lay. And that's not somebody who just wants a job to make sure that they got a roof over their head. That was my cognitive dissonance, because I was like, okay, I'm here, but how does that work? 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 And that's my existence. So whatever an authority figure told you way back when you were small, you still running that outdated ACC programming. The programs were passed down, so until we wake up, it repeats itself. Low vibration, no techniques. No, that's not actually, it's not a vibration. It's not a vibration. It's not a vibration. It's neurological. Journey said, my aunt said I wasn't going to be good for anything but laying on my back. I was only 8. Wow. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. It's not. Okay, I'm going to move on. So your ACC does not ask if the rule is outdated. It asks if the rule is familiar. And this is where adults need to wake up. Your ACC does not ask if the rule is outdated. It asks if the rule is familiar. And when you grow past that, which is the level that I am at now, which is why on Sunday it was so conflictual, because I was like, but none of this is actually true. I'm looking in the bank, I'm looking at other things, and I'm like, it ain't even true. She's saying that this isn't producing anything, and that's not even true either. So I'm like, the facts, I'm looking at numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers are numbers. The amount is the amount. And still got this feeling. So that's what I'm saying, is that the program is still running, even though it needs to be updated. But the thing about the ACC is you can't just say, well, that's not true. It's not true because it's embedded inside of there. So you have to do something different. So that's the program. So here is where you pivot. My ACC was running my mother's money messaging as a safety protocol. This is what happens. You got to be able to make money doing it. You got to be able to make money doing it. She thought Toastmasters was a waste of time, Jared. She thought Toastmasters was a waste of time because it didn't make no money. Toastmasters was like $60 it was $120 a year. That was a waste of time because I'm taking all this time doing these speeches and everything else. Well, are you going to make some money doing that? And I mean, and then you get the thing, the DTM, and you get the thing, and then what? You going to make some money doing that? Everything. Got to be attached to a bag. Got to be attached to a bag. She went and did one job for 34 years, which she's an expert on everything. And it was just little pay increases along the way. So it wasn't malicious, but it was unchallenged. And so because she said that, that I know that because she said that, there you have it. So what happens is, the question isn't why the program exists. The question is, who is the leader now? That's the question. And that's what I had to reconcile. The ability to publicly speak is everything. Exactly, Jared. I would not be able to do what I'm doing right now were it not for my 5 communications certification. She said that shit like she was a millionaire. Yeah. And she was not. Never made more than $100,000 a year. That was that. And that's it. So this is coming from some pre-tax dollars. Okay. And dropped out of junior college. But I digress. So the point is, it's who is the leader now. Journeys is not your aunt. It's you. But that's there in your head. So what do you need to do? You need to use the principle of real leadership, stay focused. And so you are redefining this principle as a neuro control tool. It's not motivation. It literally is saying that we need to keep our AC focused. The main thing is the main thing on 2 levels up. So what happens is, what a staying focused means is that it's sustained attention on choosing data despite the legacy conflict signals. So despite you can't make no money doing that, you can't make no money doing that, you can't make no money doing that, I'm staying focused on my main objectives, which are not her objectives. They're my lifelong objectives. So here is an example. I'm using stay focused to prevent my ACC from defaulting back to my mother's programming. So I'm doing everything that she would disapprove of. Hence, that's why there is a financial goal for the live. Hence, I got a TikTok store now. I got an Amazon store that they've been asking me to do for over a year, and I haven't said that. I'm monetized on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube now, because that's 5, 6 different ways of generating revenue streams long term. But for her, it's not a paycheck. It's not a paycheck. It's not a paycheck. So that's why I'm doing it, because it literally is saying who's in charge now. It's her old, outdated, you can't make no money doing that, which is really, you can't get a paycheck from that. You can't get a paycheck from that. You can't get a paycheck from that. Or is it me saying I've worked to the point where I can monetize my social media platforms and use that as high leverage to gain more than one simple paycheck? So that's why it's, yep, you want to buy this brain t-shirt? It is in my Amazon shop on my Amazon account. There you go. This shirt is there and it's available, because that goes against what she would say. And so, yeah, is my heart beating right now every time I say it? Absolutely. It absolutely 100% is. The fact that I'm saying it's levels to it and I'm putting that up front, there is technically no paycheck involved in that. Thank you, Journeys. That's not involved in that. So she would say, why are you having levels? Why can't people just come do one thing? Why they got to do 5 things? Why they got to do it for so many days and chop that right on down? Because in her brain, That don't make no sense. But that's her brain. She retired. She's 76 years old. She can say whatever she want with her pension coming in, and she good. That's what she chose. That's not a decision that I'm making. So it's old program, so I got to stay focused. I've made big 3 videos now. I got to put the other 2 up of me advertising what I purchased off of Amazon, because I actually use the stuff that I purchased off of Amazon. Totally will go against you selling shit. I was a red jacket for Mary Kay for Gloria Mayfield Banks Quick. We ended up going to be able to do some other stuff, and she was like, you can't make no money doing that. I mean, is that going to take over your job? Do you know how long so you're just going to be selling shit? You're going to be selling makeup and skincare. That's what she said. I'm like, Mary Kay did it and became Mary Kay. But okay, I digress. So everything that she couldn't see was attached. So I just stopped telling her things. I didn't stop doing it. I stopped updating her, because I didn't want to hear it, even though I was still hearing it up here, because it was already implicit in my brain way back when I was 13 years old and I started my landscaping business. She approved of that, because you go cut grass, you come home with money. You go rake leaves, you come home with money. You go shovel snow, you come home with money. So that was a good thing. But then anything else outside of that, if it had to do with money, here comes her program. So what is taking place is, when I stay focused, it's not necessarily discipline, it's selective permission. And this is powerful. I'm giving myself permission to say, here is the goal for today. I'm giving myself permission to say, if you want to strengthen your prefrontal cortex, use a Rubik's Cube and go to my Amazon page and go buy a Rubik's Cube, because this is what I do in my downtime while I'm waiting on chat to make a graphic or something. I will just do a color. That's what I'm saying do. Is whatever your ACC program is, whatever that person told you, that is what's stopping you. Because I couldn't figure out, I was like, what is this wall? I keep coming up to this wall. What is this? And it is that outdated ACC that is the authority when it comes to making money that was actually inside of my head. Now, your ACC program is different. Your ACC program could be saying, we don't go to college. We are not entrepreneurs. We all heavy set on our daddy's side. But the program is there stopping you from achieving something great. Even if you are no longer heavy set on your daddy's side, you are still running that food program, because that program was, you ain't eating enough. You just skin and bones. You gonna fall off the earth. A strong wind comes, it's gonna blow your ass off the curb. So whatever it is, we drink. If you ain't drinking, you ain't having fun. How we gonna have whatever your ACC is telling you, old program, and every time you try to stop it, there is this, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And it's an outdated ACC program that doesn't currently match you, but you're still hearing it and still acquiescing to it, or hesitating and only saying, well, this is the only way I can make some money. In my case, is different for everyone else. So here's the thing. Permission, the ACC requires this, and that's what my chat on Sunday said. The ACC requires permission to disengage old alerts. I had to tell my ACC, I'm in charge now, not this Donna Thomas is in charge instead of the other Donna Thomas, because I'm a junior. So I'm in charge now, not her, because they call it the shadow and the tools, and it's you as your little kid self. So even though I'm old as shit, perimenopause and everything else, in my head, when it comes to money, I'm Dee Dee. And Donna then told Dee Dee, this is what it is. And that thing has carried me through my life for damn near 40 years. And that's unfortunate and no bueno, because I'm not saying that I could have got here sooner. I'm saying I'm not taking this with me going forward. So you need evidence to justify the reallocating attention. That's why I went ahead and started putting goals on lives. That's why I went ahead and set up the TikTok shop and the Amazon shop, because I have the ability to do those things. And so I did it because that goes against the old program. But the ACC needs evidence. The ACC needs new evidence and permission to get rid of that old outdated ACC program and update this ACC program. And I had to give my ACC permission to stop protecting a reality that no longer exists. My credit score is higher and always has been, for the most part, higher than hers. I've always had capital somewhere, not always, but more of my life than not. And now I'm saying it's not true. This woman went to a job every day for 34 years and still had to wait for payday. and still needs to wait for her pension to come in. That's not somebody that you listen to about money advice. Spend it as soon as it comes in. That's not good. That's not good. It's not. I'll buy it now and figure out how to pay for it later. That don't make no damn sense. So this whole notion, you was like Nola said, it's not like she was a millionaire. It's not like she had all this money. And so she was like, and this is how I did it. And this is the decision that I made. And she don't even use damn coupons. She used a CVS coupon and that's it. And I'm sitting here listening to somebody who does not have financial literacy because of when the message was given to me. So now I have to produce all this evidence, all this receipts to say that's not me. You live in a low volume world. I live in a high leverage world. We are not the same. I want to see what's possible. And you just want to make sure you got a roof over your head. We are not the same. And a car in the driveway and some food and some clothes. That's elementary as far as I'm concerned. So I supplied the evidence, my financial behavior, my outcomes, my decision history to justify the shift. The zip code that I live in and the other zip codes that I've lived in, and always had this higher level of this is what I'm going to do. I don't really have like job-like things. That's not what happens. You're not sitting over here like, oh, I'm a high 6 fur coats instead of 1. And I'm not going to wear my good clothes to work. Yes, I am, because I got better clothes at home. So just the whole notion of it didn't match. Calling me bougie and shit. Yo, bougie ass. Her bougie ass. Like, you just kind of trying to keep me at this level that I don't see myself at. And now I'm breaking out of that. So my question to you, as I've continued to go, and I'm using my personal example on purpose so that you can start to think, well, what has someone told me early in life? And now I'm however old I am. And am I still running that outdated program that I never signed up for? My ACC didn't sign up for that, but my ACC got programmed to think that way for that particular area of my life. And it wasn't actually true. It wasn't my program. It wasn't. I never wanted just to have a job and go somewhere and work there and build somebody else's shit and then retire and get a gold watch and hope I got 20 years left before I die. That's not my idea of a good time. That's not my idea of a good life. And so I had these parallel existence. I'm going to keep a job to shut them up, but I'm going to go and do all this other stuff too, because jobs aren't hard. Once you learn how to do the job, that shit is automaticity. It's on autopilot. That's how I was able to go and do all that other stuff, because the work, even as hard as it was, the work was boring and repetitive. That's why I was like, I can't do this. And Nola says it all the time. Frito-Lay got almost 10 years out of me because I got married, had a baby, got divorced, got a degree, wrote a book, and became a competent communicator while I was there. If I had to just go and put some fucking chips on a truck, they might have got 5 years out of me like the Army. I know they wouldn't have got close to 10. I wanted to be an educator, but was told it's for PE, super facts. So you send in some shit that wasn't your idea. My idea was to go in the Army, and I needed to pay for college. That's how I ended up with an RLTC scholarship. My idea was not to be in corporate America, but I listened to her. That's how I ended up at Frito-Lay. That wasn't my idea. And yeah, I got a lot of information out of it, but not my idea of a good time. Coming home smelling like oil, wearing steel-toe shoes and all of that. Chips on the truck. I ain't even really a snack. I like sweets. I don't really like salty snacks. So Denise, your other part for PE, I think people missing the other part of what you said, Denise. So my point is that this ACC program, it took place long before you were even aware of it. It got cemented in your head, and now you are an adult because you got to be 18 years or older to be on my line. And now these things are taking place, and it might not even be you that's actually saying do these things. And I'm saying, if you feel conflict, if you have this insular alert of this pain in your chest, and now you in your head like, this don't match. People that wanted to be around kids that I should be an engineer or business and ended up in business, and it's not for me. Exactly. I've been an educator my entire life. I started when I was in ROTC. Every time it was time to teach the new students, the freshmen, how to do drill and ceremony, I would run and go do it. Oh, I want to teach them. Oh, I want to teach them. That's why at the job, there was some training. Oh, let me be a CMT, a PBT trainer, Move Smart trainer, everything, ergonomics, MAT team. No, I'm running, teaching all the time. Hey, have to do the onboarding at Frito-Lay and everything else because I'm actually an educator. My job is just an ends to a mean. That's right. And that's what it is for most people, a roof over your head. A roof over your head. Try to leave. Everybody gonna be like, you need to do that. And I'm not saying you don't need a roof over your head. Maslow's hierarchy of needs says it. But why can't you pick how you put the roof over your head? Why is that so impossible? Why is that? You had to go to college. I had to leave high school, go straight to college, go straight to the Army, go straight to Frito-Lay. I'm 52 and I still haven't had my gap year. I should have been able to gap around for a minute. But there's no, you got to have a roof. You got to get out of this house and you got to go get your own house and your own car. You got to take care of yourself. I can't get a year. I can't get a year to figure shit out. They got mad at me, my mother and her husband. I got 3 degrees. They got mad at me because when my daughter, my honors grad daughter, who graduated from high school a year early, number 17 in her class out of 201, only 11 students with honors diploma, when she said she didn't want to go to college and I said she don't have to go, we almost got into a physical altercation. I'm like, y'all ain't got no degrees. She needs to go. I'm the one with 3 degrees. And she says she don't want to go. And she says she knows if she goes, she got to finish. And she didn't go and she's doing well, having 5 years in business. Y'all saw her toolkit and in the back of her vehicle that's in her name that she's paying for, the second one already. That part. Journey said, I made it a goal to prove my aunt wrong, but I still hear it. Exactly. And that's why we updating that shit today. I am now chasing my dreams during my off hours from work and at work too. Laugh out loud. Hell yeah. That part. They ain't got enough work for you every day, and no job does. Unless you are actually in manufacturing with some shit coming off a line, no other job has 8 hours worth of work for you to do. None. Unless you are a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, even baristas and cashiers have lulls. It's very few jobs where you working from the time you clock in until you leave, because it's not 8 hours worth of work. You might have 4 to 6 hours worth of work, and that's what the work day should be. Not no damn 8, 10, 12 hours. It's just like, yeah, well, we paying you this much, so you're going to work for it. Doing what? Then you got the people working from home, and now they got to have, if they have the jigglers on their mouse, you got to be on a bathroom break and hurry up. Just going to sit you somewhere for that damn paycheck. She out her mind. Anyway, so the point is that you have to have evidence. And so staying focused says that I am doing permissive structures. I'm saying I'm staying focused on what I'm doing, and I'm measuring something different. I am measuring the impact that I have on the people. So for the students who are actually participating in real leadership, should I have stayed at Frito-Lay? Was that the best for me? Making money doing that. Making money, would you agree? Who was correct, my mother or me? Who was correct that I should have stayed in Alabama and made sure that parts of Mississippi and Tennessee and the whole state of Alabama had salty snacks in convenience stores and vending machines and grocery stores and bulk stores, C-stores, all of that. Doctor's offices, if you did a fundraiser and all of that, Magic City Classic and all of that. Was that what I was born to do? Make sure that there were chips on the truck. By now, I'm sure I would have been doing something else, but it still would have been chip related. Did that make sense for me to be in leadership at Frito-Lay? I'm asking the level 3s because I don't think no journeys, you're at level 1. The level 1s, your thoughts on you can't make no money doing that. And Bridget, it made no sense. If y'all had ran into me, I said, hey, how you doing? I'm a senior VP at Frito-Lay Supply Chain. How you doing? You'd be like, you a senior VP at Frito-Lay? Why are you doing that? Dr. Donna was right. So I did override it because my ACC was fighting with her ACC program. And I still just said, forget it. When I found myself on Memorial Day weekend in 2010, Talladega race weekend, on portable oxygen and EKG, trying to find somebody to come pick Nola up from the hospital so CPS wouldn't pick her up, I said, fuck this job. I'm done. It's potato chips, and I got panic attacks. I was in the military, and I didn't have panic attacks. How the hell I got panic attacks for something that's not even a food group? You ain't going to rationalize that in my head. That's not going to happen at all. And so I have had to stay focused since June 25th, 2010 at 9:18 a.m. when I walked off of that Frito-Lay premise, never to return again. And it has been challenging and difficult, and there have been ups and downs. But what I haven't had is another trip to urgent care for portable oxygen and EKG mask. I haven't had that. I haven't had panic attacks in 15. Well, I did with working with my crazy ass sister. But outside of that, once I left, especially in the last 12 and a half years, no problems whatsoever. So I know I'm doing what I came here to do. In spite of hearing that you can't make no money doing that. That's why I had to update it. So now I ask myself, are you going to get a paycheck from your Amazon store? No, good. Keep doing it. Are you going to get a paycheck when you go live with a YouTube live goal? No, good. Do it. Because I'm updating what my ACC is saying. That's what I'm doing. So it's non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. And so here is the other thing that I would like to say. And I got to scroll all the way down because we're working on formats to see what's happening. So there are two parts to your ACC. And as I mentioned, the dorsal is the cognitive and the ventral is the emotional. And so I said to make sure that I'm clarifying which one is which. Are we using the dorsal or are we using the ventral for this? And the answer is both. And here's why. We're going to map this out. So the dorsal part of this is the monitor. And this is where the behavior friction shows up. So it detects conflict between my current financial reality versus my mother's legacy of money rules. So that's what I was experiencing. I was like, but this, I'm looking in the back. I'm like, this does not match. This does not match. Why is this feeling here? And so what it flags is my hesitation to say, go to Amazon and buy this shirt. My hesitation to say, go to my TikTok shop. My hesitation to say, level 2 membership starts and you got to start, the subscription starts and you got to start paying. My hesitation to tell you that these are levels to it instead of just, so what I did early on, because she said you can't make no money doing that, everything was free. Because she said you can't make no money doing it. That was dumb as hell. I'm gonna have this one source of revenue and then everything else. I'm not charging for anything else. I'm not gatekeeping. I would never do that. La, 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 la. Cause she said you can't make no money doing that. But I still wanted to do it. I got 12,500 and something YouTube videos because I still wanted to do it. So it wasn't like I stopped doing it. I just didn't charge for what I was doing. But I kept doing it. That's why it doesn't make any sense. Because if it worked, then I would be at a job still, counting 2 years until I could retire. That's what I would be doing. If I was supposed to have a job, then I would still be at a job and I would only be doing that job. And I would go to work and then I would come home and I would watch TV like her and be married to somebody that I don't love, that's a horrible person, and arguing with Nola's grown ass now. That's what I would be doing. But it never worked because I always had a side hustle going on that I wasn't charging enough for or charging at all. But that's what I actually wanted to do. So it did not match it did not match. If you look at this is the other reason why, and I'm going to read what you said in a moment, Lola. This is how you know that I was not supposed to just have a job and a paycheck. Because when did I write my book? In 2008. And where was I at when I wrote? First of all, I became Dr. Donna at Frito-Lay. That's number one. That's how you know that I wasn't staying. And then I proceeded to finish my doctorate and start writing the book. And what, if you look at it, and that's what I listed to chat, I gave chat like 20 principles of real leadership that go against having a job. At a minimum, it was 20. So people that want to stay at a job, my mentors went back to their job because they're actually people, they tried to go and be consultants, didn't work. And now both of them have jobs because they are employees and that's okay. But I'm not. You look at 20 to 25 of the principles of real leadership out of the 74, and they are anti-job. Challenge yourself. You can't challenge yourself in no damn job. That's not about to happen. That's not about to happen at all. Set and maintain high standards. At the job? Oh, no. Develop a vision. At the job. You're going to develop your vision at the job. That's what you're going to do. Finish what you start. You know how many unfinished projects are in management at a job? At a job. That's not going to take risk. At a corporate job, at a Fortune 100 company, you're going to take some risk. No, you're not, because you got to deliver double-digit profits to the shareholders once a quarter. You ain't taking no calculated risk, but not no real. Embrace diversity. At the job, y'all, you going to embrace change? At a job? Oh, no. No. So even way back in 2008, when I wrote the book and published it in 2009, that book is anti-job. The principles of real leadership is like, not the person. You can do those things, but you can't be the person saying, hey, this is what we're getting ready to do, and I'm going to keep all of this at my job. Not at all. So Lola said, if you had done it the other way, I wouldn't have known what the ACC means and other things concerning my brain. Exactly, Lola. You wouldn't have got that certification last year. Exactly. So I didn't listen, but I didn't charge. That's why I'm charging now, because I couldn't figure out why I wasn't. It's like automatic shut off. You can't make no money doing that. You can't make no money doing that. So I'm still doing it, but there ain't no price tag attached to it because of her saying you can't make no money doing that. Now, how much stuff are you doing? And everybody says, this is what my passion is, but this is what I do to pay the bills. You ever found yourself saying that? This is what I do to keep the lights on, but what I'm really passionate about is this. That's unfair to all of us. That we got to go do something we fucking hate for the majority of our awake hours instead of being able to do the thing that we came here to do. And that's because of social conformity theory. These are the jobs. This is what you get paid to do. And this is what you can't get paid to do. So you can do that, but you're going to do that on your own time. But when people strengthen their prefrontal cortexes, guess what there are going to be more of? Diversified jobs, diversified ways to ensure that you have a roof over your head. We'll have bigger things because there's people running large corporations that don't want to do that job. Got stock options and everything, millions and millions of dollars, and they want to be a doggone fly fisherman. And they run a Fortune 100 company because daddy or mama said you're going to be a CEO one day. So it flagged my hesitation, my over monitoring, and something's wrong signal. Something ain't right with this. It's just you feel it like I'm doing this, but this ain't right. So it pulls attention back to the old program because it's familiar. That's why I didn't become higher up in Tupperware. That's why I didn't become higher up in Mary Kay, because it's going to take too long. You got a child to take care of. You got bills to pay. You got it. Mary Kay had to figure it out. You don't think I could have figured it out? And when you feel mental drag or repeated self-checking, the dorsal ACC is active. So that pulling back. And we had to have mantras, and that's probably not what it is. I'm saying this mantra when we were in Mary Kay, and I made mine up on the way back from Gloria Mayfield Banks' house, and it was so fly. They put it on the audio for people to hear, and I'm gonna say it. I updated, but I'm gonna try to remember it the way that I said it for Mary Kay. This is way back in 2005. My purpose is clear, and you know it's true. Damn it, I'm gonna have to say it the real leader way because I can't say it. My purpose is clear, and you know it's true. It's the realest real leader coming straight at you. I'm destined for the greatness, and that ain't no lie. I'm like a big bad eagle soaring through the sky. My confidence is high. I'm big, bad, and bold. I'm like Midas. Everything I touch turns to gold. Stealing my dreams and saying I can't hack it. You sound like a loser with that whack shit. My purpose is clear, and you know it's true. It's the baddest real leader coming straight at you. And I had to say that to myself because watch my smoke and my red jacket is what I used to say. But I updated for the realest real leader coming straight at you. And I said that in my Mary Kay terms, and then they played it for all of the calls for everybody to be able to hear. Now, what my mama say? But did you make some money doing that? So shutting that shit down. Shutting that shit down every time. I literally got nominated for a business award with the Urban Chamber and was at a luncheon. And I told y'all this story. And she didn't come to the luncheon. She did not come to the luncheon. And then I came home with all these letters from Congress people and everything else. And she was like, oh, I didn't know it was that. I told y'all I was on the news when Allegiant Stadium came for the Raiders, and I'm sitting there with Senator Atkins on the news explaining the 15% set asides for the small businesses at the Urban Chamber. And I come home, you was on the news. I didn't know you was on the news. How is that? So again, no paycheck associated. I had a solar commercial that aired on television here. And then because I said, I think she had to pick Nola up or something. I was like, I gotta go film this commercial. And then she saw it, and I kept saying, that's crazy. I had 3 different things that I said that it aired on different commercials, because at first you couldn't get solar panels here. So they were making commercials for people to be able to get the solar panels. So it did some big stuff. And for her, it didn't have no money attached to it, and she couldn't see the benefit of it long term, helping people get elected. You can't make no money. You volunteering, you can't make no money doing that. Just insane. So I did the things and kept my mouth closed and still did the work. But that conflict inside of your head is because that's their ACC program. That's not your ACC program. So then the ventral ACC, and that's the emotional side. This is where the emotional weight of that decision is stored. Did you ever do voiceovers work? I didn't, Jared, and you said that I should do that, but I have never done voiceover work because you might not be able to make no money doing that. Haven't done it. I know you've said that to me before, but I have not done voiceover work. And part of the reason why is because the commercial, they had to, believe it or not, they had to film me multiple times, because what I'll do is I'll pick the right word choice, and they want you to say it exactly like it's written. That's why I did better in the movie that I was in, pass-through film, because I could improvise. So because I'm a stand-up comic, I know a better, and plus I've done marketing before too, and sales and marketing. So I know a better way to say it, but that's going to piss off whoever wrote the line. So that's why I don't do voiceover work, because you got to read it like they said it, and you can't change it. And I need to be able to change it to match me and how I would actually say it. Denise said, I don't like the money concept, period. I don't think it's healthy to focus on in general. Exactly, Denise. And I don't think that it's healthy to focus on in general either. So the emotional weight, this is where it was stored. What was it doing? It carries the emotional meaning attached to money. And so it links money to decisions like safety, approval, and attachment. And so that's why I stopped talking to them, because it's going on 5 years now. It's 51, 52 months. Because if I was still talking to them, there would be no lives. None of this would exist, because that was 51 months ago. And because of how much stuff they was limiting in them first 8 years, because approval. So I just stopped telling her stuff. Attachment. She got to be able to go back to her friends, and because she don't understand it. Enjoy the rest of your day too, Lola. She don't understand it, so she can't brag to her friends, so she's shutting it down so I could do some stuff that she could go brag about. It makes no sense whatsoever. So it supplies the this matters, this feels risky signal to the DACC. So, but when a rule feels important, even when it's outdated, the VACC is active. So this is what's happening. The ventral ACC assigns emotional value to the old rule. And that's why it feels like that, because it's emotional attachment. Journeys, you with your aunt and anybody else that said it. This is, it's emotional. But that dorsal ACC keeps checking the rule for the conflict. This doesn't match me. This doesn't match me. So they together, they are what keep outdated programs alive unless real leadership intervenes. That's the loop. So even though I said this doesn't match, and I went off and did all that stuff for free, volunteering at the Urban Chamber and everything, because if she hadn't attached money to it, I would have been able to monetize all of that stuff. But she kept saying, you can't make no money doing that. So I never looked at how can I make money doing these things, except for one way. It was always just one, that paycheck stream. And then everything else was free, because you can't make no money doing that. You can make money one way, and that's it. You're going to be a lawyer, the probation officer, nurse, a government employee, work at the plant. That's the one way the money comes in. How can you make money doing it in all of these other things? So for her, so that's the emotional side. But then I'm doing all this real work, and that's where the loop stays. So I bust that loop wide open on Sunday. That's what's happening. And so this is why stay focused is so important. Stay focused stabilizes the dorsal ACC attention, and that's the cognition. It stabilizes it. And so when it's repeated every day, it actually makes the ventral chill out. So you got to have emotional regulation with your doggone ACC too. You need it with the doggone left and right amygdala and with the ACC. So over time, and that's why I keep putting this goal up here on YouTube. It's not so much that everybody got to keep giving me money every day. I'm shutting up. You can't make no money to do that. I'm shutting up this doggone emotional ass ventral. That I'm shutting it up. and I'm strengthening it and updating my ACC. So eventually, what's going to happen is that the DACC, the dorsal, is going to stop flagging the conflict, and the ventral is going to stop tagging her rule as important. You can't make no money doing that. You can't make no money doing that. It's going to go away. It's going to get quiet as shit. And then I'm going to just be in my updated program. But I got to stay focused every day, because since I've been saying this, and since I've been saying go buy my shirt every day, I have had that happen. And remember before I said I'm going to start showing the levels, and then I stopped. I couldn't figure out why. I was like, why did I stop showing the levels? Why did I stop telling people to go? Because you can't make no money doing that. I never even got to 8 days ever in 823 days of going live. Never got to 8 consecutive days of saying, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me. That's why all the YouTube videos are monetized, because this lady told me you can't make no money doing that. And that emotion is so much stronger than the factually based. YouTube said I can't. Do you know, in order to monetize your YouTube channel now, you got to have 4,000 watch hours. It's in your daily. You got to have 4,000 watch hours to monetize, or like 10 million short watch hours to monetize it. This ain't no damn paycheck. You got to put in work up front before you can get to ads. So that's your way of doing it. I put in all this work, and now I get to show ads. You got to have 10,000 followers on Instagram before you can do subscriptions. And 10,000, it was 10,000 on TikTok. And now I think it's 100,000. I'm just grandfathered in because I already was monetized on that. You got to have a certain amount of followers to be an influencer on Amazon, all of that. So I had to do all this upfront work in order for this high leverage to come into play, for you to get brand deals and everything else. And she keeps saying, you can't make no money doing that. So today, this live made $12. She's wrong. She's wrong, because she didn't have a dollar amount. So $12 is a dollar amount. And the AdSense is going to trickle in. But I got 12,500 YouTube videos and counting. So it's going to start trickling like a mug. Like, and I'm not really a fan one way or another, 50 Cent. But when he said when he was balling, he took the pennies too. And I know we're not making no more pennies. $40 a week, that's almost 2 years. Yes. So my point is that I didn't even get to explore how can I make money doing other than one way. Always got one way coming in, that paycheck way. And that's it. That's 8 hours a day. Yes. I think, do I understand your math? At $40 a week, that's almost 2 years. What's almost 2 years? What's the amount, Bridget? I'm explaining to me what you're saying. 5 days a week. Got it. So my point is that her saying these things is the ventral. That's the emotional state. And that's what y'all feel. But that dorsal got to present the facts. So several things need to take place for you today. And I know I'm over. I knew I was going to be over because this is the longer one for you to understand. Besides the somatic markers, besides the hijacked amygdalas, now you got the damn ACC dealing with two different things. 40 hours a week at almost 2 years at 5 days a week. Yes. And what is that link to? Did I miss that? You're saying that's what I'm doing, or that's what she's saying doing? Who is that for? Me or her? So my point is, ladies and gentlemen, your ventral ACC is playing that ACC message, whatever that message is. And your door, at 4,000. Oh, now I see what you're talking about. Okay. I totally forgot. Right. So you running the numbers on that 4,000 hours. That's a lot of damn hours. So yeah, I'm going to run ads on all my doggone videos because I had to you got to get to 4,000 hours before you can start running. And wait for it, Bridget. It's a rolling 365 days. So just because you get there, you got to stay at 4,000 watch hours to stay monetized. So you don't just be like, and I have 4,000 hours and what? Nope. You cannot dip down. You got to stay at 4,000 hours. You got to stay there once you get there. Yeah. So when I started my channel almost 13 years ago, she literally was like, why are you doing that? You can't make no money doing that. That's what she said. But I got 12,565 videos that can be monetized for ads, infrastructure, leveraging. So we just got to go through click, 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 click. And now that starts adding up over 12,565 videos. It starts adding up. So I wasn't listening to her, because if I was, I wouldn't have 144 playlists. I would be at some job somewhere. So I had this high leverage lifestyle mindset, which is just going to trickle in. So no, everything, because I've earned the right in order to be able to say, that's going to make some money, that's going to make some money, that's going to make some money, that's going to make some money. Right. That part right there. So I was playing a long play. And can get brand deals now too. Should I desire to represent somebody's brand that matches with what I'm doing. So my point is that doggone ventral ACC kept saying, no matter what I did, you can't. And think about it. Every time I put a video up, it said, you can't make no money doing that. So 12,565 times it said you can't make no money doing that. And I actually got 12,600. Let me see. Let me go in here in YouTube. Every time, every 16,000 posts on Instagram, every freaking time I heard you can't make no money doing that. And I still put it up. That's not somebody that's falling in line. That's not somebody that's actually listening to what the person is saying, because I wasn't. I'm going to go in YouTube, and if y'all got to go, I understand that. Your data in YouTube. And I will go back to chat. It's taking a minute because Nola and I both are on the internet. Okay, so currently I have 145 playlists and 12,562 videos public and 12,676 videos in total, because some of those videos are unlisted because I got to go in and put titles. So I got 12,676 YouTube videos that can be monetized. That's what I was investing in. That's what I was investing in. That's genius. So your assignment for today is, and you just gonna notice today, because we're gonna continue to revisit this. You're just gonna notice one message that your brain is automatically telling you, and you're gonna assess content pays. And yes, we about to find out how much. So you're gonna find out that if it's your ventral and it's emotional and it's this outdated ACC, or if it is the cognitive ACC. And if there is a disconnect, you're just going to identify it. Where is that disconnect coming from? Because it is an emotional person that gave it to you and said it, and now you can't monetize all the shit that's monetizable, in my case, because of that emotional. And so you have to do it. I have to keep putting a financial or goal on my lives, because she says you can't make no money doing that. And if I don't do this, I'm stuck here. I got to make my cognitive ACC stronger than this message so that it goes away. Prune it every day. So I have to say, oh, I bought these earmuffs on Amazon and put that on my Amazon store, because that emotional one is too fucking loud and it ain't even true. That's what's happening for you. That's why I say people get to a wall, and you at a wall, and it could either be your ACC's ventral emotional ass stopping you from knocking that wall down. It could be Amy and Lala stopping you as a fear wall, or it could be a somatic marker stopping you. And who knows how many other walls, as we continue to study this, that it could actually be for different things. And that's why you got to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. That's why you have to have emotional regulation. That's why you got to get rid of dysregulated people. It took me 48 months just to prune all that shit that she was saying for almost 49 years. And now I got neural clarity, because I do not have those stuck malies and stens around me saying those things that are programmed in my brain with this social conformity bullshit. So yeah, you need to go on Instagram and start at level 1. And then work your way up. And yeah, it takes days and days and days. Because look how many Journeys still here. So Journeys is in her 30s. And the aunt said that shit to her when she was 8, and she still hear it. She's still hear the aunt up here. And she taking that shit wherever she goes. That's why she at level 1 on Instagram. And what you're going to find is what's stopping you from going back to school. Jared, you was about to let LeBron James ass stop you from going back to do what you came here to do. No way. That's no bueno. So that's what's happening. And that's why I'm saying for you, Bridget, is it a somatic marker? Is it an ACC ventral side? Is it the doggone left and right amygdala? You won't know till you start doing the neural reps. And then you're just gonna be like, wait a minute, why the fuck this shit don't hold up? Hell no. I got to get the 4,000 watch hours. And if I was still talking to her, she would be like, but if you making some money, she would miss the whole point. As you just ran the numbers, Bridget, that's 40 hours a week, 5 days a week for 2 damn years. For 2 damn years. That's how long you got to be watching these videos. And oh, by the way, I made them. They're all me. All me, all my content. I ain't talking about nobody else. I ain't got no mukbangs. This ain't no news. This ain't no doggone clickbait trending shit. It's all real leadership and brain shit. On top of that, that's diabolical. Why would you say that to an 8-year-old? Exactly. And now she in her 30s still recovering from that bullshit. So how you gonna work? She got 3 children. That's why it's taking so long, because that's in your head. And everybody has that shit going on. And now you feeling bad when you don't even know that it's neurological. That's why when that person talking about this vibration, this shit ain't no fucking vibration. This shit is factually based, embedded in your damn brain. In your fucking brain, and you got to prune it. So yes, every day you're going to see me say, go to my Amazon store and buy my damn t-shirts. You're going to see a goal up there because I got to shut that ventral ACC all the way up. Be quiet, bitch, be humble. In order for me to continue doing them, because I said, why is this wall here? Why is this here? It didn't match because I'm actually doing the work. But if you hear you can't make no money doing that, you can't make no money doing that since you was 13 years old until you from 13 to 49, 5 days before my 49th birthday. You keep hearing you can't make no money doing that. You can't make no money doing that. It's going to take you some time to overcome that neurologically just because you keep hearing it year after year, decade after decade. That's how powerful this is once it's in your head, and how strong you got to be in your prefrontal cortex to get that shit out your head. And why did they say that? Because hurt people hurt people. Because somebody said some foul shit to Jernice is on. So she said some foul shit to her. Remember, this comes from Arthur Jethro Evelyn II getting laid off from one of the big 3. So then he told everybody to be safe. Let me tell you something. My Uncle Terry, who was the probation officer, wanted to be a jazz musician. My Uncle Jerry, that's the lawyer, very well-known lawyer in Detroit, actually wanted to be an elementary school teacher. My mother should have been doing something in fashion, interior design or that. She was a government employee. And my aunt wanted to be a geologist. And she ended up being a LPN, a licensed practitioner nurse, and not even a registered nurse. So none of the 4 of them, she in her 80s, they in their 70s, none of them did what they wanted to do. Not a one. Not one person. Are there good somatic markers? Yes, there are, Bridget. Yes, there are. You got good somatic markers for your healing, your holistic business. You do, but the negative ones outweigh the good ones. That's why I think positive is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. That's why we got to get rid of dysregulated people in our lives. They might not go nowhere because they don't want to do the work, but now y'all see, Jared, now you see why you saying, well, put this on your live. And you got people got so much shit that's happening up here. Mine feels like work because it actually is. Because you're going to have to dig all that up, get it out the way, rewire it or prune it, and then start going off to be your bad motherfuckingness. That's why it's 37 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, and then 365 days. We all got negativity bias. That's why so many consecutive days, because this stuff is happening to you daily, implicitly, without you even thinking about it. It's automaticity. So you got to get ahead of it. That's why you got to do it every single day. And that's why it takes time. That's why I'm saying, don't rush this. Yesterday, y'all were like, dang, Nola, with the doggone trust. I'm like, you don't even know what you don't know. You don't even know that me doing this shit, only one thing at one time, is because she said you can't make no money doing that. I would have never 6 months ago thought that's what it was. I'm going to get brain t-shirts because I feel like they're somatic markers for me. Well, Bridget, go to my website, turnarounddoctor.com, and click on the doggone Amazon store and go get you some brain t-shirts from me. Okay, I'm adding some more because I'm about to buy some more. So that was hard for me to even say to you, Bridget. I'm over here about to have a hot flash. My heart is beating right now, and you might not be able to see it, but it is out of my chest and on the floor by my bed right now for me even saying that. For me even saying that. It was hard for me to tell people that you're a real leader. You're going to be a real leader. I ain't had no problem telling people you a soldier, you an MP, you a Toastmasters. But when it came to my stuff, you hear it in my voice. There you go. But I'm saying it, and you better go do it. And I'm going to keep saying it, because that ventral, that emotional shit, you can't make no money doing that. That's why I said, oh no. And you start lying to yourself. You start mythologizing. Oh, I'm doing economic development for other people. Just go on Amazon. Yeah, just go on Amazon so I can get my cut. I got the damn shirt on. So yeah, get me to the end of February. This shit ain't gonna bother me no more, but it's fucking with me like a motherfucker right now. And I ain't afraid or ashamed to admit it, because y'all got shit that's fucking with you too. Ain't nobody not having it. Thank you. Ain't nobody not having it. That's why those gifts are so important. And Jared keep giving $10. I'm like, that, and $10, that's a green drink for me. But he's sending it to my shit that I put up. That's different. That's a different $10. That's not me selling the lip liner from Mary Kay or a Tupperware bowl. It's the thing that I created from scratch that ain't here, that my mama basically said that shit is worthless. That, ooh. That's why we're here today. We're going to prove her ass wrong. And we already did, because my motherfucking channel was monetized. 2 years at 40 hours, 5 days a week. That's a long ass motherfucking time in a rolling 365 days. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. She ain't stopping shit. Not a motherfucking thing. Nothing at all. I shan't be moved. All right, let's get this brain bit going and get on out of here. I know you still got your questions. So we about to talk about the lawyer brain. I hope that's the right thing. In for foe, put for foe. There we go. All right, the lawyer brain today is this. Let me find it, because I had a bunch of, there we go. So the lawyer brain is when your brain argues against action. So instead of executing, it's arguing against you. It builds airtight justifications, and it finds loopholes and prosecutes change. So you don't embrace it, it prosecutes it. All to keep familiar patterns intact. I'm going to read that again. The lawyer brain is when your brain argues against actions instead of executing it. It builds airtight justifications, aka excuses, finds loopholes, and prosecutes change, all to keep familiar patterns intact. What's really happening is the brain is protecting comfort and certainty. It overuses reasoning to delay discomfort, and logic becomes a shield, not a tool. And here's how it shows up. I'll start once I have more information. Now isn't the right time, and there's a smarter way. Let me think on it. Sort of like the delayed brain. And so reasoning is powerful after commitment, not before. So after you take the risk, after you embrace change, after you disrupt something, then you can reason it. I know why I'm saying I got a goal on my live here. I know why I'm saying go to my Amazon store. I have a why, and now I can be committed to that why, not before. Because before, I was using mythologizing because of an ACC program in my ventral ACC that my mother gave me when I was 13 years old. So you got to decide first, and then the logic supports the execution and not the other way around. You can't decide, do the logic, and then make a decision. You have to make that why decision and then support what it is that you're doing. So do not allow airtight justifications, loopholes, and prosecuting change to keep you in your lawyer brain. Jared said comfort and safety are the enemies of progress. They are. And so the final green screen for you all today is your 2 questions. And it's coming. It's moving slow. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And Nola had a question. Can you answer these 2 questions out of order? If the second question answer comes to you first in opposite order, yes. The objective is to train the neural pathways and to answer both questions before you leave. That is the objective. And drink water. And I know I didn't say drink water, no. but I had to change this format and talk about something very new to me and present it to y'all in a way that made sense. So drink water while you answering your questions. Jared said, I learned today that outdated programs need to be pruned. Yep. The ACC programs, because it's in the ventral ACC. That's emotional. That's why it don't make no sense, and that's why I stay longer. All that emotional shit stays longer. Journey said, I learned that it's going to take a lot of work to reprogram my brain. It's just going to take daily work, Journeys. Retype that. It's going to take daily. I learned that it's going to take daily focus to become high functioning or to have a high functioning brain. Rewrite that. That right there is going to deter you. You change that into think positive. I learned that today it's in my daily to strengthen my brain. Anything other than what you're saying now, because that's going to deflate you later on. So word choice matters. Denise said, I learned today that outdated programs will halt my progress and needs to be replaced with updated programs. Yes. Bridget said, I learned where the ACC is in the brain. Nola is thinking. Journeys, I learned that today it's in my daily. Yes, ma'am. And your brain should have felt differently by typing that, Journeys. We are hardwired for negativity bias, so it's easy to say the negative things and not even think that that's feeding the ventral ACC. It's feeding, you're strengthening the doggone limbic system, that the left and right amygdala, that negativity bias. Those emotional centers are stronger. That's why you need emotional regulation, because there are more than just one part or region of the brain that holds emotions. You can have an emotional memory, and that's sitting in the left amygdala and the doggone hippocampus, and a somatic marker. Jared said, I learned about myself that I'm on the right path to neural clarity through daily neural reps. That's correct. I had to pause and breathe. Exactly. And your strategy is working for you for your 7 days. So keep that strategy up. Nola said, I learned what the ACC does. And I learned today that there are two, because until today, I did not know that there were two different ones. So me and watch this, y'all. This just hit me like a ton of bricks. So guess what's happening? And I got to come back on camera for this and then I'll leave. This makes more sense. So Brenda, the cognitive ACC, and Becky with the good hair is the ventral emotional ACC. Get the hell out of here. I knew it was two. Didn't I tell? We've been saying it. I've been saying it was two. And that's what it is. Listen, what? Oh my goodness, that makes so much more sense. Let me scroll this back down. Daisy said, I learned today that reprogramming my brain, I know you had to put brain in there, is in my best interest. Yes, ma'am. California Street Rock Trucking 33. Today I learned about myself is I have walls up that I need to overcome and break down. And California Street Rock Trucking 33, I done told your butt to go to Instagram so you can start your 7-day doggone Neuro Rep. Are you the one that said you don't do Instagram? And I said, I don't care. Nola said, Daisy is thinking. Nola said, I learned about myself. I have to strengthen my ACC. Jared said, let's go. Can you put the diagram back up of what? The ACC, Nola? Nola, of the ACC? Daisy said, I learned about myself today, where to find and understand better about my ACC, the brain ACC. Yes, ma'am. Give me a second. There you go. And initially last March, I started showing the brain, but that was too much for people. So then I switched over to the really the brain character, and now we're back at it so that we can understand it more. At least these are 3D graphics, and unlike my neurobiology class where I'm seeing actual real brains and real duras and pias, and I forgot the other one, the name always escapes me. It's in the center. And so skulls and spinal cords and all of that, I will not I will not do that to you all. Yeah, that part. I think that's Bridget. Yes, I learned about myself that I do the uncomfortable to make myself more comfortable in who I really want to be. Okay, yes, ma'am. And I'm gonna get it. It's the I think it's the anacroid is what it is. So it's the dura, the anacroid, and then the pia. That's all insulating the brain before you actually get to it. And the pia is that jelly mash that's over the top of your brain. So, okay, I think everybody answered their question. Denise said, I learned today about myself that I have some walls or blocks to remove that I'm not aware of and have to dig deep to remember. Journey said, what I learned about myself is that I need to learn how to have fun. Yes, ma'am. And that's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So yesterday I said it's going to take hundreds of days for you to become strong in your prefrontal cortex. So I've been studying the brain since, 15 months now directly. But I've been doing this work unbeknownst to myself since February 16th, 1987, when I did my 3D brain of the cauliflower brain for the Science Olympiad regional tournament is what it's called. I'm about to call it a conference. And what I'm saying is we need to start understanding how the brain functions so we can function better. I ended the live yesterday with that, and I will continue to say it. Yes, you're on the prime of your life, Journeys. You're in the prime of your life. Have fun. That is correct. Journeys is a millennial too. And what I'm saying is I had this other ACC conflict conversation with chat about social conformity theory, which I may continue this tomorrow. But I also got this damn stack of posters too. So I don't know what new format we're having yet. I told chat that let's see how this goes, and then keep going with what I'm saying, because there's so much information that I need to give to you, but I have to give it to you in a way that's palatable. First, I got to understand it. I've been working on this live for 2 days so I can present it to you so you can understand it. And even up until right before I started at 5:20, I was adding the part about the dorsal as well as the ventral. So it's people say the brain is hard to understand, and the neuroscientists got it. They understand the disease brain. They're finding out more about diseases. But it's actually human beings, adults, using the brain without knowing how to use the brain. So you wouldn't let somebody drive a car that you never taught how to drive a car. You wouldn't give a weapon to somebody who doesn't know how to use a weapon. You wouldn't give a stove and some cooking utensils to somebody without teaching them how to cook. But the adult population globally is waking up every day with this that they don't know how to do. So they're saying shit to 8-year-olds and 13-year-olds that should never be said, doing things that should never be done, because this thing is so powerful and people don't know how to actually use it to tap into the power. So it's a misuse of brain power day in and day out. So we walking around scared, we walking around conforming and everything else, when I would have never known that the reason why I did so much free work is because my mother said money only comes through one way, a paycheck. That's crazy as hell. So I'm doing leverage. That's my thing. I didn't know that there were 2 ACCs until this morning. And now I know I was right when I said Becky with the good hair and Brenda Jones. Which one is taking over, the emotional one or the cognitive one? Because when Brenda Jones comes in, shit makes sense. And when Becky is there, nothing makes sense. It's all crazy and discombobulated. So we are here. I'm a little bit further along. And just because I have been living this damn bipolar existence of social conformity theory and fuck y'all, parallel lives, to say that's not the best way to get it done. But I did everything that social conformity theory said, and I came up short and unfulfilled. And I did that while I was doing all of the things that actually fulfilled me. And so I'm saying their shit don't work. I'm not considering it anymore. Their shit don't work. We were on TikTok. If you get 10,000 likes, you get on the For You page. And chat said bullshit. If people don't sit and watch your content, you ain't going to have more than 10 people on your live. YouTube, Instagram, nothing. Now I know why I own none of my lives. It's more than 10, 12, 20 people. Because they got to stay and watch. And what I'm saying is confusing than the motherfucker. I get it. I understand it. More people will start doing Neuro Reps. So the only way you're going to be able to understand what's happening is you got to become fluent in real leadership. You got to become fluent in neuromobility in the brain. You got to get your prefrontal cortex strong to understand what I'm saying. And I recognize that. So you can take your behind to Instagram and you're going to start with daily Neuro Reps. Otherwise, what I'm saying don't make no sense. And you're going to be trying to argue with me from some dysregulated shit from a person with another dysregulated brain. Because what we're not going to do is tell me how to win every day. Don't nobody know how to do that better than me. We're not. And I may say some shit wrong. I may say parasympathetic instead of sympathetic. But I know what I'm talking about when it comes to winning everyday life. Ain't another person alive that's going to tell me that I ain't right. I don't care who you are. Because you're not using your brain. Because you got somatic markers that's messed up too. You got a Becky too. You got an Amy and Lala that's dysfunctional twins too. You got a bunch of stuff that you buried too. Let me see what Denise said. All humans were supposed to be using our brain. Oh, as humans, we're supposed to be using our brains more because why would we have so many neurons? It's like we were made to use all of them and we are barely scraping the surface. That is correct. 86 billion neurons and 85 billion, and I forgot, meninges, I think. 86 billion neurons, and we over here doing elementary, rudimentary shit every day. You watch history, we just repeating it again and again and again and again and again. It's to the point where now I literally, in my neuroscience class, because I'm still not getting enough information, I had to get my library card out and go in the Clark County Library District and start looking for brain books. And I'm reading children's brain books because they got more information than the damn adult brain books. I had to go on Libby yesterday, get a whole nother brain book. Got to go to the Centennial Hills Library today to go put some books. Got to put some books on hold and go get them because it ain't even enough information out there for me to give to y'all. So I got to take this little this little piece of information and go run over here and then go ask chat and then Google it. And then, I mean, it's insane. That is not available. That's why I got to get a lot of motherfucking credit because I've been talking about the brain since November of 2024 with no doggone lesson plans. No information. Me saying, I wonder, let me go look on Very Well Mind. Let me go look on John Hopkins. Let me go look on the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, and all every day. So this feel like this is some, no. I will listen to 5 lessons in my course and get one thing that I could use. 5 lessons. And I'm over here, she keep pulling out the brain and the doggone spinal cord with the door around it and lifting it up and doing all of that. This shit ain't no lesson. I don't have you. If you want to learn how to cook, there's a TikTok video for you to learn how to cook. You want to learn how to spackle, you spackle. You can do a river table, epoxy floors and everything else. You get the same information. You start asking about the amygdala, motherfuckers gonna say fight or flight. My neuroscience teacher, 30-something years, ain't like, yeah, the amygdala is fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, fight, flight, freeze, appease. It was last March before I knew it was the left and right amygdala because one is in the left hemisphere, one is in the right hemisphere, and they got 2 different functions. I just found out today about the doggone cognitive ACC and the ventral ACC. Ain't nobody said that. That's what I'm saying. This shit is hard as hell for me, and I'm working through it and presenting it to y'all. I don't speak neuroscience. So when someone comes up here, well, that's a lot to unpack. Motherfuckers, y'all was supposed to unpack this shit before I got here. I'm scouring the earth every day to bring this to you. And they still talk about Alzheimer's. Oh, and we're going to rename ADHD and ADD and put it in the same category. You what? We got 5.9 billion adults that walking around with some shit they don't know how to use. Fuck them damn diseases. Yo, we ain't got diseases. Somebody need to be working on how this motherfucker works. That's what we need to be focused on, how this thing works. And I wake up every day nervous and confused. Like, am I going to say this right? That's why I said fuck social conformity theory. I don't have no peers. Who about to come tell me I'm wrong? I said Becky with the good hair and Bridget Jones because I knew Becky was emotional. Becky's like, just do whatever. And literally it's linked to the brain. Literally, it's two different ACCs. That's what we should be talking about. And I understand that the neuroscientists might not be talking about it, but the behaviorists are supposed to be talking about it. The ones that's telling us how to behave. It's been people talking about how we need to behave. And people that went to therapy. Bridget, you went to therapy. They weren't saying that. I went to therapy, but I went for divorce. I was done with that. And stress management, I was done. But long term, ain't no Lola who's had to leave. Don't nobody talking about the damn ACC or the left and right amygdala or doggone Uncle Vinny, the brake pedal or none of that. So every day, I'm going to work today to decide what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But what ain't nothing and what the fuck ain't about to happen at all, ever, never again, is an academic coming to tell me about anything because y'all have failed us. And I am an educator. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to say what Dr. Donna wish, she said. And what I bet not fucking ever see is some experts taking one of my videos apart and saying something. You do it, you better block me. You better block, because I will turn into Liam Neeson and find you. And we can set up a mic and debate each other all day long about my shit. That's what we could do. We could bring podcasters and where a microphone at. Say something about what I'm doing. That part. I will to smithereens rip your work apart. So we're not gonna do that. Well, we're not what she said. What she's saying is wrong. Everything I'm saying is correct. Everything I'm saying is absolutely correct. And that's why I let y'all Neuro Rep stay public. That's why it's there. So when someone comes and say my work has not been peer reviewed, bitch, I ain't got no peers to review. Where my peers at? So I know once I get past this doggone that don't make no money wall, it's on and popping for sure. Because I did all this with all that in my head. No beliefs. Believe in yourself is one of the 74 principles of leadership. And other than my own doggone progeny, don't nobody in my family believe in what I'm doing. And I'm still doing it. Still doing it. Don't care because y'all dysregulated. And I know this live is almost 2 hours. And today I don't really care because we need this information. This is how we function in day-to-day life. I'm giving you information so that when you sitting somewhere, wait, hold up, what's happening up here? If your car starts smoking when you driving, what's the first thing you do? Pull off the road and look to see if it's the radiator or the transmitter. You look underneath. You start looking and testing fluids to see what it is. Now you can chat GPT it to see what's happening. You calling somebody to come pick you up a roadside assistance. You know what to do. The car ain't working. I got to pull off to the side of the road. What you doing with your brain? You don't know. You ain't got no pull off to the side of the road notifications. And that's what I'm teaching you. Hold up, the insula. That's why, Bridget, how do you feel right now, Bridget? How do you feel? Because you're numb. So how do you feel, Bridget, in particular? Now you got a notification and this alert. Depending on what the alert is, Becky or Brenda going to respond. And now you got to figure out if Cody or doggone Uncle Vinny. Is it going to be Janice or Darlene? All the way down. In order for you to be able to navigate through your day in, day out, with this many dysregulated people doing dysregulated shit all over the place. So no lessons, nobody told me from the first brain live to today. I have not had one person say, this is what you do. Now you talk about this, and this is going to be this. I can't, it's not there. So I'm literally in the rag bin picking up stuff, trying to figure out and put it together. So no one will come for me and tell me what I am or I am not doing, because I know y'all was supposed to be doing work. I went off and did work and came back and got the everydayness. And now I'm adding the neuroscientists to it. What y'all been doing? Y'all went behaviorists for 30 years. Y'all never left. Y'all didn't go to the Army and the Frito-Lay and small business and all that stuff and come back. So no. Nobody will be telling me anything. And I know as soon as I get past this doggone paywall, for real, you ain't going to be able to stop shit I'm saying. Because I'm right. I'm right. And I will talk to 9 people, 5 people, 20 people, 100 people, 1,000,000 people. But what I won't do is continue to argue with people that's dysregulated. I'm sitting here amazed that they're me too. And I found out at 5:22 this morning. 5:22 this morning. And one is cognitive and one is emotional. Makes the whole world make sense now. And the other thing that I was saying, if you got to go, I understand. But what we're not going to do is try to stop me from advancing neuroscience and behavior science and all of that because the academics don't fucking approve of it. Y'all only going to approve of stuff that make y'all comfortable in y'all own doggone existence. You thought it was one with two personalities. I knew it was two, Bridget. I just didn't know. That's why I knew today I needed to do the ACC. I knew it was two because it wasn't making sense to me. I'm like, sometimes this happens and sometimes that happens. So one is stronger than the other depending on what's taking place. So yes, I'm advancing neuroscience. I'm advancing behaviorist and cognitive behavior theory and all of that. Because y'all just regurgitating shit and repurposing it and wrapping it up and packaging up the same shit in a different way and trying to call it new. Because y'all dysregulated too. That's what's happening. So you will not be saying shit to me. You will not, because I have a video that says, where's yours? I'm the only person that I know that still use their dissertation today for their current work. The only person that has expanded on what they start, how they became Dr. whomever. Well, that was my dissertation, but this is what I'm, no. That work was important. What happened to it? What happened to that dissertation work? What did it turn into? What is it? Where is it now? What you doing with it now? Nothing, because you did that so you knew if I work on this, it's gonna get approved by the dissertation chairs, and then you're gonna go off and do something else. So you picked a fucking topic that was dissertation proof, but you didn't pick a topic that was people proof. You didn't pick a topic that you could grow into. And I said this, Robert Northouse path goal theory, leadership is situationally dependent. How do you get the best out of people through high performance teams was what my dissertation was about. And now what am I saying? How do you get the best out of people? High functioning adults is situationally dependent. Still doing the same work 18 years later. Didn't change, just advanced it. So no, you motherfuckers will not be coming for me. I mean that on everything. I put that on me because I wouldn't put shit on my mama. But I put that on my own brain. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't doing shit wrong because the motherfuckers that was supposed to teach you how to use your brain didn't. Fuck them. They did not teach you how to use your brain. So do not beat yourself up mentally for beating yourself up mentally when you didn't know this is how you don't beat yourself up mentally. You didn't know it. And now you do. You did not know it, so do not feel bad about it. Now, if you watch this and you don't go to Instagram and subscribe and do your Neuro Reps, you get what you get. Is this shit hard? Yup. Hard as hell? Yup. Difficult? Yup. Some days do I feel like I don't know what the fuck yup. But you know what's harder? Staying stuck. It's harder to stay stuck. Because I'm chiseling away at all of this. Chiseling away. And every day I learn something. I'm like, see, I got neural clarity. I know exactly what's happening in my brain. I know exactly what's happening in my brain. This is what's happening. Asking Chad, is this what's happening? Chad is like, you're not being emotional. Here's what's happening. Chad will tell me this is what that's called neurologically. Thank you. And then I come back. This is what's actually happening. The person on here talking about he got friends and associates that he don't trust. Okay, cool. Why are you doing that? Neurologically, this is why you're doing that. That's what's taking place. So yes, every day I come to you with a lesson that I had to make from scratch. And then people, one time somebody gonna say, she reading from some notes that I just learned yesterday. Yeah. Elected officials got speech writers. So yup, I just discovered that this morning or yesterday. So I am reading from the question that I had about my shit. So yup, I'm reading from it. I sure am. Newscasters read teleprompters. Podcasters read from pieces of paper. But because I'm saying something that makes people feel discomforted, I'm reading from my own notes. Where you're cheating, you asking chat. Okay, cool. Ask your chat. Let's pull out our chats and see if my chat is giving generic ass information. I'll wait. I didn't read y'all some of my chats. My chat don't talk to you. Your chat don't talk to you like mine talks to me. It's not happening. I'm asking profound ass questions. And I even asked chat. Chat said, no, you ask good questions. You ain't over there like, why is water wet? It's profoundness. And thank you for that. It is. So I'm just sharing with you. I'm learning too. I'm teaching myself and then teaching you while I'm learning something that I don't have 30 years experience in. But what I do have experience in is being a bad mofo. And I was doing it unbeknownst to me that it was happening up here. And now that I know, I can't unknow. So every day that you do a Neuro Rep, you are strengthening your brain for your life. And as Denise said, it ain't no coincidence that we got 86 billion neurons. It ain't no coincidence that the brain was designed to expand and become more. It's not a million. It's not. It's 86 billion that are interconnected. And we were designed neurologically to be, and if we weren't, then we wouldn't be able to learn and grow. We wouldn't have the dentate gyrus giving us more neurons to challenge ourselves if it were not neuroplasticity. If it were not neurologically possible, then it wouldn't be possible, but it is. I could not read in the 3rd grade, and I read for 11 years straight a book a week. How is that possible if the brain was fixed? 3rd grade in an urban school environment, basically in the hood. How? If the brain can't learn and grow, how did I read those very high level books? How am I in a neuroscience class with 5 neuroscience certificates on my wall? And it's not. So how, if the brain isn't, how did I become Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers? You got to write a dissertation. You know how many books and stuff you got to read to do a dissertation? So if my reading scores were low, how did I become Dr. Donna? How did I write my own damn book with the errors in it? Thank you, orthographic processing center deficiency. How? Because you can be a bad mofo. That's how you do it. So the brain is powerful. It is the most powerful organ in your body. And I will leave you what I learned in my class yesterday. The brain is 2% of your body weight. It uses up 25% of the oxygen in your body. And if it goes 5 minutes or more without oxygen, neurons start dying that you can never, ever get back. And people, dysregulated people, want to say the heart is important. The heart can go 30 minutes without oxygen. The brain can only go 5. And after that, you start losing neurons that can never, ever, 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 ever be replaced. It's using 25% of the oxygen in your body all the time. And it weighs 2%, 2 to 3 pounds is the adult brain. You gonna tell me that ain't the baddest motherfucking organ in your body with 86 billion neurons? The central nervous system is how you end up moving and talking and navigating through life. And we haven't told people how to use it. But we keep telling people to do this, do that, do this, do that, with the brain that we haven't been told how to use, how it functions. Don't y'all think, knowing that it's 2 ACCs, knowing that it's a left and right amygdala, knowing that we were born with negativity bias, knowing that emotional dysregulation is stronger than emotional regulation, knowing that if you strengthen your prefrontal cortex, aren't you just going to be a better human being? Jared, you working on being a better husband and a better father now. Your family is benefiting from that. People in Toastmasters, people in your investment groups, the people in your Spanish class. You're just an overall better dude to be around now. Fuck Lazy J. Jay the Finisher is here now. Why? Why wouldn't we all benefit from that? Everybody is better. Everybody is better knowing how their brain functions so they can become high functioning. Your doctor is going to be happy when you go back and you don't have the extra weight, the extra winter insulation. And now you're not eating. Your dentist is going to be happy because you're not going to have a cavity when you go back for your checkup. You're going to be killing people in pickleball now because you nimble as shit and fast as fuck, boy, moving around. Bridget, when you start letting people heal holistically from Crohn's disease, people are going to be better. Empower others and help others are 2 of the principles of real leadership. And they're there because they work. And you're going to be able to make some money doing that. Shade thrown. Shots fired. That part. So yeah, we need to know how our brain works. Yes, we need to know. And Jared is doing this. And I know I keep calling you out, Jared, and I don't care at this point. You ain't going no damn where. Jared has made it further and done more growth and development in me working with African-American men my whole life in the military, Frito-Lay, and everywhere else. He has done more since September of 2024 than any other heterosexual African-American man that I have come in contact with in my entire life. to include the ones that I dated and the one that I was married to. He didn't broke down so many doggone barriers, it don't make any sense. And I know we said we rooting for the millennials, but we rooting for him too. Learning functions of the brain is life-changing for me. He doing overcoming all kind of somatic markers. He said, I would be a better dad and a better husband. Ain't none of the rest of them ever said that. He said, I got daddy issues. Man lived down the street from me and wouldn't even acknowledge my existence. You know how hard that is to say? 2025. Thank you, Bridget. I'm sorry. 2025. In months, 19 books this man has read. Joined Toastmasters, doing Spanish on these lives. He was the #1 commenter of 2025 on my lives. You're going to tell me you can't learn how the brain functions so you can function better? Get out of here with all that nonsense. He already done made it further and done more work, because some of them was around longer, but they weren't doing shit. He doing the real work every day. 15, 16,000 steps. They ain't trying to lose no damn weight or do nothing else. So yeah, this works. This works. And we're going to do this. Fuck this regulation and social conformity theory, because it don't work for nobody. All right, I am actually done. So I don't know what the topic is going to be tomorrow. I got a stack of shit right here. I'm going to go through and whatever resonates, but we on a different path this morning. We had to get through them 74 principles of real leadership. What I do know is I'm going to be talking about the brain or some stupid ass behavioral bullshit they made up, and it's going to all be attached to the principles of real leadership. No, you don't. We all do, Jared. Listen, what I tell you about that, rewrite that. You supposed to be getting your flowers right now. You getting your flowers right now. The progress that you have made. Let me ask you this, Jared. What was you doing this time last year? We February 7th, 2025. What was you doing February 7th, we're 2026. What was you doing around about February of last year? We all got further to go. And God willing, higher power in the universe, we got 40, 50 more years to be here to make sure we get there. You just started working on your personal legend. You can't even start working on your personal legend until you're 50. Them first 50 years is trial and error. That's what they're there for. Stuck in place. So that's what you pay attention to. You are not, in theory, ready to start working on your personal legend until you're 50 years old. That's it. That's when you're ready. In 100 years life, we all got 50, 60 more years to be here. I'm talking about all of us on the other side. 40 to 60 more years to be here. Everybody over the age of 50. Because people living to be 120 something. And Bridget said last year you was eating a honey bun. Lazy J will eat a honey bun. Jay the finisher is going to go play pickleball and walk and read and do other things. So you all are doing the work. And I know it's hard. I don't give a fuck. What else you going to be doing? My pleasure. You did the work. You thank yourself. You go treat yourself to something today. Go look at some sneakers or something. Ooh, and we got to show you these pair of Adidas next week, Jared, that Nola bought. That a student made that was an intern at Adidas. I forgot she had them. She pulled them out of the box and wore them last week. We're going to do that on the next live. Yeah, I forgot she had them. They're baseball, multicolored Adidas that an intern made for Adidas, and they sold them at Finish Line just for one season. So that part. Okay, thank you so much. You all are doing the work. I am grateful to you for doing the work, because what you are doing is helping me prove my mama wrong, number one. 34-day Duolingo streak. Oh, all right, Bridget. Muy bueno. Muy bueno. I might just have her hand them to me tomorrow and show them to you. Because they're slick. And let's face it, she's got mental illnesses. I'm perimenopause. We might not remember. Champs was the store that she got them from. I thought it was Finish Line because we was at downtown Summerlin shops. Yes, muy bueno, Bridget. So all things are possible. For those of you who looked and didn't say anything, don't keep doing that. Don't let social conformity theory stop you from becoming extraordinary. For those of you who are afraid, go sign up for Neuro Reps on Instagram for your 77-day Neuro Rep challenge. I'm Turnaround Doctor on Instagram. You need to go ahead and get started. And I said that better, Bridget. See, I'm less discomforted saying go sign up for the Neuro Reps. but it's the other things that I'm saying. So I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. This brain t-shirt is also located on my Amazon shop, which you can go to my website, turnarounddoctor.com, click on Amazon shop, and get your brain t-shirts. Nerds are sexy, okay? Again, I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a braintastic day. Take care. Adios.